Okay, so thank you for joining today's session. My name is Jasmine and I'm one of the key account managers at Iress for the sourcing division. Hopefully you can both, or hopefully you can all hear me. If you could just raise your hand just to confirm that you can hear me, and perfect. Cool, everyone's raised their hand. Excellent. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do today is I'm just going to take you through a really quick presentation which just explains a couple of things about the online system, which is Xplan Mortgage. So everybody who's on the call today, I can only assume are using Trigold at the moment. And the idea of the session is to talk to you a little bit about moving to our online version of Trigold, which is called Xplan Mortgage. Now, Xplan Mortgage was created probably 3 or 4 years ago now, and it is an online system, which means that you just need to use the URL to log into the system, which is completely different to Trigold, where you have it downloaded onto your machine and you need to manually run an update every morning. So the first thing with Xplan Mortgage is that you don't need to run an update, it's just live data. So if I just take you through a little bit about the things that are like for like with Trigold. So first of all your resi, buy-to-let and product transfers is the same product data that powers Trigold, that powers Xplan Mortgage. You've got all the same sourcing filters. You can source through total to pay. You've got your panel filters, your client notes, your ESIS and KFI productions. You can browse your products. You've got your document store. So everything that you basically do in Trigold at the moment is available in Xplan Mortgage. However, you do get extra benefits in Xplan Mortgage. So I guess the benefits are, first of all, is that it's online, so automatic product updates, and also the fact that you can use it on any device, so laptops, tablets, and phones. You can have a firm level view of clients. So with Trigold, it's on your machine and your machine only, and the only way you can view those clients then is to have it on your is to access it on your one machine. Whereas with Xplan Mortgage, you can actually have the system quite open, so that everybody within your firm is able to search for another advisor's client on the system and access that client area, which makes it really, really handy when someone's on holiday, or maybe they even leave the business. It means that your clients are securely on the online version that you can access, but you can also have it in a hierarchy way. So you could have it so that the director can see all advisors' clients, but the advisors can only see their own clients, for example. With the online version, we have a knowledge bank integration, which I will show you today. We also have the ability to do your second charge sourcing through the online version. You can do a lot more mortgage calculators. There's a lot more of those on the system. And then there's some extra modules that you can add on. So you can add in an eligibility module, which is a soft footprint credit search on your client. And also we have started to launch with a GI module as well, to allow you to first of all source GI through LNG, but with plans to add in another couple of providers as well. So like for like on the left hand side, above what exists in Trigold on the right hand side, Xplan Mortgage is a modular solution, which means that you can sort of pick and choose the modules depending on what each advisor needs. The 3 main modules is the mortgage sourcing module, which is essentially your online version of Trigold, where you just log into the system and you just source for your mortgages. The protection module is the second module, which if you already use the exchange, then it's free to add in the protection module, or you can add in the ability to source protection through the Xplan Mortgage system. So essentially means you don't need to use more than one system to do your mortgage and protection sourcing. And then we also have something called the advice module, which I've popped a little summary of here. it's only an additional £4 to add in the advice module, but what you actually get is quite a lot. You get a full fact find, you get the ability to generate your suitability and demands and needs letters. You can create a case and upload and store all your clients' documents on the system. And then on top of that, we do have a client portal as well, which is something you get free as part of the advice module, where you and the client can securely transfer documents between one another. It will make a little bit more sense, this advice module, when I show you on the system. And protection module, sorry, I already summarised this slightly for you. So it's powered by the Exchange, which is our online protection sourcing portal, and it just gives you the ability to source your mortgage and protection within one platform. And then what you can do is you can apply directly with the providers as well. Again, this is additional fee. So if you already use the Exchange already, there's no extra cost, but if you do, then it's just a small fee. If you don't, then it's just £6 a month to add in the protection module. We do then have one final module called the CRM module, which is essentially a management system, which will allow you to run reports. It will allow you to amend and customize your suitability letters. You're able to do lead and opportunity management, and then you've got your full audit trails and case management and complaints area as well. So that's the CRM module, which is an additional cost again, but the CRM module is probably just, you probably only need one per firm, and it's just that sort of management system that you have in the background. So basically what I'm saying is you could just use Xplan Mortgage just to do your mortgage sourcing like you do on Trigold at the moment, but there is other modules that you can add in. It's just to show you that the system can open up and do a lot more. There are a couple of things that Trigold has, which is not currently in the online version of Xplan Mortgage if you were to only take out the mortgage sourcing module. And there are also a few things in Trigold that we will not be bringing into XPM. So first of all, if you use Trigold at the moment, there is already a really basic fact find and suitability letter generation tool within there. That's actually not part of our standard offering anymore. It's part of the advice module, and that's because the one in Trigold is very, very basic. So the new one is very, very much more comprehensive and allows you to do your full journey through the system. We will not be bringing into the online version an offline functionality. Obviously, we have Trigold already, so the XPM is designed to be the online version. In Trigold, you can create your own disclosure documents. However, this will not be brought into XPM. It's no longer mandatory, and a lot of firms already have their own template which they use, so they could just save that template onto their machine and then upload it into Xplan Mortgage should they wish to. And then there's a lender income multiple override as well, which won't be pulled in. So only a few things that won't be added in. We have got some things on the roadmap for this year. I won't go into too much detail. I think it's probably important that we go into the system now. So this is the online version of Xplan Mortgage, and this is the mortgage and protection module. So at this point, we haven't got the advice module in the system. So essentially, if you were to do a straight switch from Trigold to Xplan Mortgage with just the mortgage sourcing module, then this is exactly how your login would look. I've actually added in the protection module and the GI module for my test account. So you can see that, you know, this area here under the actions is where you would be creating a new client from scratch. And then this mortgage quote section, this is like the quick quote. So it's almost like your browse products in Trigold, where you can really quickly pop in bare minimal information and do a quote on the system. So if I click on the mortgage quote, I'll show you that. It's probably the area that you use quite a lot within Trigold. So And you don't need to pop much information into here. So you only need to pop in the first name, last name, and gender. The income and date of birth are not mandatory. They are optional, and you can choose to include your second applicant if you want to. Your mortgage purpose is here, so you can do your purchase, your remortgage, and also your second charge through here as well. Your loan type is your resi or buy-to-let. Your repayment method is here. So I'm just going to pop some really basic figures into the system. Change my loan to value to 80% because there's in fact I changed it to 75 to get the most results, as we have had quite a lot of product withdrawals at the moment due to COVID. And then you've got your rate preference at the top here that you can select. Your initial term is here, and you've got your advanced option within there as well. If anyone has any questions, by the way, there's a chat box or a question and answer box that you can just pop them in. So if you do have any, then please fire away. And then if you are part of a mortgage club or a network, whether you're AR or DA, then your lender panel option will be here. Mine's assigned to the PMS DA panel. So if you're part of PMS or LNG or Simply Biz, any of these DA clubs, then you will have the option to source either via all lenders or via the panel. 3 boxes at the bottom. Eligibility will do a soft footprint credit check on your client. Protection will do a quick income and mortgage protection quote for you as well. And then you can have a look at including your buildings and contents insurance. Don't want to over confuse things at the moment, so I'll just show you first of all how to do your basic quote through the system. Okay, so really quick results. Again, just to clarify, this data that powers the online version of Xplan of Trigold is the same as that powers Trigold. So your results will be the same. The results screen is fairly similar. On the left-hand side, you've got the product information. You can have a look at the fees here, and you can have a look at the rates. You've got the loan details tab at the top here where you can make changes. So if you wanted to play around with the numbers, then you can use this section here, or maybe you want to start narrowing it down to a fixed or a tracker, for example. You just need to pop in your changes and then click on source, and it will just refresh your results for you. You've got your product features at the top here. So this is, for example, your free legals, your no early repayment fees, and then your more filters at the top here. So you can filter down by your lender. And if you were to do any company buy-to-lets within the within Trigold at the moment, or you do have many of those, then you can use the company application and the limited company option there. Obviously, your results are going to pull back in initial rate order as standard, but you can choose to sort your results in any of the headings at the top. Your keys here, so your black products are your intermediary products that will show on the top here on the left hand side, and then you've got your blue products, so these are your exclusives. So if I was to select this one, for example, here is where it would tell you who it is an exclusive for. So this one, for example, is MCI Club. This one's for PMS. Now, recently we've added in a knowledge bank integration that's completely free of charge. So if you upgrade to Xplan Mortgage, then it's just included. If I click on check criteria, it would just take you straight into the knowledge bank area, where you can just really quickly have a look at all of your lender's product notes. You've got all your criteria, categories, and available criteria and things like that. And then you do have the option to join and purchase a full knowledge bank license. But at the moment, just a really quick, simple integration that's completely free of charge. We've also got more calculators in Xplan Mortgage. So we have an overpayment calculator here. So this is really handy. So this is, say, for example, your client wants to pay regular overpayments of £100 per month. Then at the top here, it would just tell you that by making that additional payment, it will clear your mortgage 4 years and 2 months early, save £24,000. You can print this out, send it to your client. You can do lump sum overpayments as well. So maybe they want to pay £10,000 off, and it will just explain how much quicker it would clear the mortgage. Other calculators that we have on Xplan Mortgage is the term change calculator, the rate change calculator, and the we do have the payment matrix still, which is built into Trigold. So 3 extra calculators if you move to XPM. Again, it doesn't cost anything different. It's just all part of the online version. So yeah, so this is a really quick way to do your quotes. Now, just to remind you, what we did is we created a quick quote from the dashboard, and what it will actually do is create a client for you as well. And at the moment, it's literally just the first name and the last name, as you can see at the top here. But it's saved a copy of the quote that you've done in the system. So at this point, you've had a conversation with your client, they're going to go away and have a think about it. And then at any point, if they come back to you, you can just search for that client within the recent clients area, and then just access that client's area at any point and start to do more quotes. Now, I mentioned earlier that if you have a if you want to be able to see your colleagues' clients, then you can do that through the system. So if I was to take out the advisor name and click enter, it would search all clients on the system. And if I was to say, Catherine's on holiday and I need to pick up one of her clients, then I would be able to search for her clients on the system as well and access their client area. Okay, so if I just go into an existing client, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another quote through the system and how you can generate your KFIs and things like that. So you can see within this client area, we've got all of the requirements that have been quoted. So here we've got some mortgage and some protection quotes that have been done for my client. And the way that you would do a quote would be to click on the new requirement and then add a mortgage quote. And if you have the protection module, then obviously you'll have the option to source protection through here as well. So if I just, we'll carry on with looking at the mortgage journey. So this is now not a quick quote. This is more of an in-depth quote on the system where you have a client already created. But again, all the areas are exactly the same. And then if I just pop in the loan to value and the term. Again, you've got 2 options at the bottom here. You've got the option to tick this box. If you add in the protection module, then this will give you a really quick income protection and mortgage protection quote based on the information that you've put in the system for this client. But what you also have the ability to do if you have the protection module is to source all your protection through the system. So all your life quotes, your relevant life, your business term, your income protection, whole of life, mortgage protection, etc., etc. And you can do your multi-policy quotes and your multi-benefits through the system as well. If I tick this box, then we do have an eligibility checker in the system. It is a soft footprint credit search on your client, and it will give you an adverse credit check and also credit bureau check. So I'll tick that, demonstrate that to you today as well. And the eligibility module is a pay-as-you-go service. So it's £2 for a sole client and £3 for a joint. If you don't tick the box, you don't get charged. And if you do want to do a check, then you do just have that option within the system. So again, it's just all part of upgrading to Xplan Mortgage. But again, you don't have to use the eligibility checker if you don't want to. And then what you can do from here is either go straight into source, or you can look to add in more information about your client's property. So maybe you want to pop in the location or whether it's a new build or not. And on the left hand side, you can see there are a number of different areas where you can start to add in your filters. So you could source without adding any filters in, or if you know that, for example, your client just wants to have a look at a fixed product, then you can add that in before you quote. Now, because I ticked that eligibility module option, then it's saying that I just need to add in a couple of extra bits of information in order to do a an eligibility check on my client, and that is current account provider, housing status, and the marital status. And again, just to reiterate, it's only because I ticked the eligibility, otherwise it wouldn't be asking me for this information. Then you can add in, for example, your credit history, which is just a series of yes or no's. And then if it was a CCJ, for example, then you would be asked to add in that information. Then you can add the address for your client into the system, and then you can also add in some financial information. So just to clarify, you can either use the system just to use the quick quote area, or you can quote from within the client screen, which will then give you a lot more options to help sort of filter down your results. I hope everybody's following what I'm saying. Okay, so on the left hand side, again, very similar: product information, product features, filters, things like that. Couple of things from here. Then at the top here, you've got a more options button. This is where you can add in a comparison requirement, and that is the same in Trigold as adding a new tab where it gives you another set of results, exactly the same, but you may want to compare. You can include your fees at this point as well. So this would include the booking and the arrangement fee into the results. You've also got some sourcing preferences. So this is where if you always source in total to pay, for example, then you can just set your own preferences in the system. If you want to always include the date of birth and income as a default, then you can select that as well. So these are sort of individual sourcing preferences. And then here on the left hand top as well, if you hadn't already ticked the protection box, then you could add protection in at this point, and then you can generate your product list report from here as well. Okay, so we're in our results screen, exactly the same screen as we were in before. Knowledge bank integration here, calculators here, product notes here as well. You can select up to 5 products and compare the products on the product comparison tab, and it just pops those products side by side, and you can compare different things like your fees and things like that. What I'm going to show you now is the eligibility module, just to show you what this functionality is. It's been around for probably about 12 to 18 months now, but we're starting to really see advisors using this service. They find it really, really beneficial. Again, you will be charged, so it is a £2 for a sole client and £3 for a joint client. And this is powered by HD Decisions. They're part of Xplan. They use the data from Xplan, Equifax, and Call Credit. So all the data is accurate. It'll do a credit bureau check. So first of all, check the bureau, and if there is something that's not quite right, then it would pop up here with a red cross. It also does an adverse credit check, but it will not tell you what the adverse credit is. It is a soft footprint. At this point, if there was some adverse credit that you hadn't added into the system, then you would be able to go away and add that in, and you've got 28 days without being charged again or leaving another soft footprint. Then we've got a number of lenders on board the service, and they'll tell you how likely they are to accept the requested loan amount. And then if they won't accept the full amount, maybe how much they would accept. And then there's also the lenders that are very unlikely to lend. So we've got a range of lenders on board. We've got Barclays, NatWest, Skipton, Virgin, Leeds, platform. So obviously not all lenders, but a fair amount of lenders on board to give you an understanding of how likely the client is to have their loan amount accepted. You can then print that off for your client as well. Okay, so again, eligibility module, it's all part of the package if you upgrade, even if you were to just upgrade to the mortgage sourcing module. I've popped a tick in a few of the products, and now what I'm going to do is generate my illustration. Now, when you generate a illustration or a product list report on the system, then it will actually automatically save a copy of those documents against your client record. So you don't need to save those and re-upload them. So it will generate our document here. All of this information will be pre-populated. Got some broker fees that we added into our settings area. So you can add those in to the settings and they will pull through the amount every time. Product fees here. You will just need to select your procuration list. So let's say it's LNG, fee payable to Iress. Complaint details are already pre-populated. So really not much to do here. Your main areas will be checking your broker fees. You can add more broker fees in, who is payable to and the payment timing. And then you can delete fees as well. So I'm just generating my product list report now and my KFI, and both those two documents are going to open up at the bottom here as PDF documents for you to be able to have a look at. And then if I was to go to my client area, those two documents will have saved. Now, before we move on to another, to go back to the client area to show you those documents, I'm just going to show you how I can now have a look at my income and mortgage protection quote that I've generated on the system. So on the left hand side, and this is purely because I ticked that protection box at the start, it's going to flip over to some mortgage protection and income protection quotes. Now, the point of this service really is to sort of bridge the gap where maybe mortgage protection isn't necessarily discussed at the point of talking about the mortgage payments. So it's really designed to give you an understanding and, well, to give your client an understanding of how much it's going to cost them to take out some mortgage protection. Now, this is actually including the life cover and kick. So again, we all know that kick is quite expensive. It may be that your client doesn't take kick or only takes a percentage of kick, but the whole point is to discuss with your client exactly how much it would be to take the full life and full kick together, and just start to plant the seed with your client to make sure they're thinking about that as an option. These are all live results. The providers push back the results directly into the exchange from their sites. And quite similar, on the right hand side, you can have a look at your product notes. Your income protection is here. And then you can also have a look at your multi-benefit as well and how much it would be to combine the two. The chances are at this point, this isn't going to be the policy that your client goes with. It really is just designed to sort of talk about roughly how much it's going to cost and start to get them thinking about protection. So once you've had a look at your results, you can just flip back to your mortgage results at any point, and it would take you back to your mortgage area. And then from here, we can just continue with our journey. So we've generated those documents, and then if we go back to our client summary screen, what you will see is the quote that we've just done here and the product list report and the KFI that we've done as well. You can upload and store as many notes onto the system as you want to as well. So if you just wanted to type a note out or if you just wanted to upload a document for whatever reason, then you can do that as well. Okay. So essentially what I've gone through so far is how to do a quick quote. So that's the same as if you were to do a browse product in Trigold. And then I've gone into a client that we've set up on the system and done a quote from that area as well, just to show you the two types of way that you can do quote and how they are linked and the same as how you potentially use Trigold. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I've covered the mortgage sourcing module. So this is free if you have an existing Trigold license, which I think that everybody on the session will already have. So you can just upgrade to Xplan Mortgage, and this is how your system would look, minus the protection and the buildings and contents quote. So just ability to log in, create a client, do a mortgage quote, generate a KFI. Then you can add in the protection module, where if I was to click on that, it would ask me to pop in my policies. So you've got all your protection policies in here, your term assurance, mortgage protection, your business term, and you'd be able to quote protection through the system. If you have the exchange already, then you can just add the protection module in for free, or you can just upgrade and add that in and it would just go onto your monthly direct debit. What I'm going to touch on now is the advice module. The advice module, it's only £4 extra to upgrade to, and you do get a lot more within the system. So I'll just log into the version that I have set up with the mortgage, the protection, and the advice module. And what you get on top of the mortgage sourcing only module is the ability to, first of all, create tasks for yourself to remind you to do things, or maybe you want to create a task and to assign that task to somebody else within your business. We have the ability to create a case, and what you can do is you can create a case and you can upload and store all the relevant documents to that case that your client would need. So maybe at the moment you are just using folders on your machine. Maybe you do have another sort of CRM system that you use for that. But the whole idea of Xplan Mortgage is to essentially reduce the amount of different systems that you have to use. So what I'm going to do is I've shown you how to do a quick mortgage quote. So it's exactly the same functionality. So I'm really just going to focus on showing you the benefits of adding in that advice module. So again, you can see a lot more areas within here. So the first area I'm going to show you is the fact find. So if you add the advice module, you get full fact find. All the areas here on the left hand side are part of your fact find. So you've just got, you know, personal details, contact details, address summary. Then we've got some soft fact find questions. So what can I help you with? What's really important to you and why? And what future changes to your circumstances are you aware of? We've got an area where you can add in and record your client's dependents, employment and income. So at the moment, I'm not sure what everyone's using as their fact find. So you could be using a paper fact find that maybe you've created as a business. So again, this is an online fact find that you can just access at any point and add things to at any point. You've got property and other assets. You've got an insurance section where you can record. I mean, if you do a protection quote through the system, then it will automatically add that protection policy to here. Same with GI, or if you've done a protection quote on another system, then you can manually add that into your client's fact find. You've got an expenditure area where you can record all of your clients' committed basic, essential and basic quality of living expenditure. Got your credit history area. And then what you can do with your fact find is you can print a copy of your fact find out as a Word document. A number of different options with this. First of all, you could send a blank fact find to your client to complete for you. Or you just might want to send them a copy once you've completed their fact find to check over, where at the bottom you've got a declaration area for them to sign to confirm that they are happy with the fact find. And then what happens is it automatically saves a copy of this paper fact find to the system so that you have got a copy, date and time stamped. So every time you make a change on the system to your online fact find, you can print a copy and save a copy of it. Okay, so that's the first extra thing that you get as part of the advice module. You naturally get this financial details area, so as and when you fill out parts of your fact find, then it will add in some financial details. No, so the second thing that you get is the ability to create a new case. So when you create a case, you can select either a mortgage and protection case if you have the protection module, or just a mortgage, or just a protection. So if I create a case and just show you what this does, it creates a case area where on the right hand side, you can upload and store all of the documents that you have for your client: disclosure document, verification of ID, proof of address, income, bank statements, etc. You just upload them into the system. And what it does is it gives you a centralized place and area where all of your clients' documents are. So again, I speak to a lot of brokers that maybe just use their desktops or their laptops to store their client data. This is just a more secure and centralized place and area for you to keep it. So again, you can access Xplan Mortgage on any device and any machine. So if your laptop packs up, then you know that all of your clients' documents and things like that are not lost. They're all on the system. So you just work your way through the checklist on the right hand side and upload and store your documents. Once you've done a quote in the system, then you can pull that policy through to your case. So you can see here a quote that was done, and if you'd done a protection quote in the system, then you would link in the protection quote. And it just gives you an area where you can store your client data and your client quotes that are more case specific, and you can rename your case. So it could just be that you want to name it by the address, because you might have a client that's got a resi and a couple of buy-to-lets. So you'd have 3 cases potentially against this client, where you can name and identify the case with the relevant documents, with your product lists and your KFIs as well. And then on the left-hand side, if I go into illustrations, this is where you would be able to generate a suitability letter. You'd also be able to generate a demands and needs letter as well for your client. And it just essentially is like a back office system. So it's about managing your cases, managing your clients. Okay, so that is your cases. So that's again additional functionality, and just I know that I'm sort of going over this quite quickly. So just to explain, we do have advice only webinar training sessions. We've got adoption consultants that can do one-to-one training with you or your firm. We have online bite-sized videos. So there's loads of support. So I appreciate that I'm sort of only giving you a really quick overview at the moment. But it's just to show you that additional functionality. Again, you've got a tasks area against your client. So if you wanted to create a task, even if it's just to remind yourself to initial mortgage appointment, contact client, or it could be that you're the advisor and you need to assign a task to your administrator. So we do admin licenses. They could log in the administrator and you could assign tasks between one another. So for example, I could say, Catherine, need to assign a task to her to complete. Can pop the due date in. I'm going to give her a week. Click on save. And then when Catherine logs into her Xplan Mortgage, that task will have popped up for her to action. So there's so much you can do within the system. With that advice module, you've got a diary management area on the right hand side as well. Okay. So I hope that it all makes sense. Like it's quite hard sometimes to sort of explain when there's different modules and things like that. So I hope you followed, and obviously if anyone has got any questions, then please do pop them in the chat box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to email everybody after the session with my contact. Then you've got my contact details for any questions that you may have. I'll attach the order form and just once again clarify the different modules and the different costings that there are. So essentially, the first step would be to get you set up with a free mortgage sourcing license, which again looks like this. And it just allows you to access the system online, essentially, and do exactly what you can do in Trigold, but through the online version. But if anyone does want to add in the advice module, then it's just £4 to upgrade, and that gives you the ability of fact find, suitability letters, tasks, cases, document uploads. And then if you want to add in the protection module as well, then you can. So I will clarify all the different modules in the email and the costings, and I'll attach the order form, and then you've got my contact details. So if you've got any questions, which you probably do, then you can drop me an email. And just to reiterate, we do have lots of training and support. So we've got more webinars that we run every week, but we've also got adoption consultant team that you can arrange one-to-one training with free of charge. To help support you with your journey of switching. So that basically is the end of the session. If anyone's got any questions, I'm just going to hang on the line for a few minutes. There's a chat box and there's also a question and answer box as well. So please do pop any questions that you may have in the boxes. If not, then you're free to leave the session. I'll drop you an email this afternoon. And thank you very much for attending. I hope you found it beneficial.